Okay, real quick, just before we start talking about what we want to talk about, I'm gonna be discussing real quickly like the bit, this talking about NBA ratings and why I think it's stupid and pointless. I'm gonna be doing it based off a tweet I read last night. Uh, I don't think any people are gonna watch. Like, not enough people are gonna watch this video anyways to like freak out about it. But if you do, don't add this person. It's not that serious. It's just I don't think it's worth talking about. But the fact that this person wants to talk about it is not a reason to like argue with them. Who cares? Okay, so don't do that. But so let's switch over to the other cam. You can see what the tweet I'm talking about is from Ethan Strauss. Ethan Sherwood Strauss, I guess, but whatever. The way he chooses to go by, I don't care. That's good, whatever he's comfortable with. But so Brian Curtis is a media guy for The Ringer. Let's see what is official editor at large for The Ringer. Okay, but in his podcast, I think he usually talks about media stuff like sports, but from the media perspective. And so he had a tweet that was basically the fact that TV executives don't like the upcoming matchup will have no effect on your life. This is, of course, in regards to the fact that the Warriors are out and Steph Curry, who's a major star, and obviously LeBron, who's like the biggest star in the league, are out. They're all out between the play-in and the first round. Is anyone else off the top of my head? I'm trying to think anyone else that's worth talking about is out. It doesn't matter. I mean, maybe the Clippers, but I don't know. I guess Luka's probably kind of a star anyways, so who cares? In the East, you got the big three in Brooklyn. That's that. What else? You don't really got to worry about that. Let me ignore this real quickly. This is just gonna be like my little talking point, so I make sure I stay on track. Okay, so Ethan responds by saying, in a real life sense, no, right? Like, because like obviously it doesn't matter if you're just living your life if people don't like it. But then everything TV seems to have a downstream effect on the league. Bad regular season numbers equals why we got the play-in the first place. Now, there's a lot of arguments to that. I don't know if, like, first of all, he hasn't provided any evidence that the only reason they made, or even the catalyst of why they made the play-in, which I think we all agree was pretty fun. It was pretty cool to have LeBron and Steph Curry in it, even though on the East I didn't really care much about it. It was cool. It was cool to have to see LeBron and Steph play in, like, not one and done. LeBron didn't have to play in the one and done, but Steph did, and that's cool, right? But we have no evidence that the reason they made that is mostly because of that, right? They've been trying to do that for like 5-6 years, and there's probably a lot of it has to do with the fact that, right, like when the seating is as like solid as it used to be, right? Like there's not a lot of drama to it. There was no real difference between finishing 6th and 7th, for example, right? You wouldn't really care if you finished 6th or 7th. You'd rather be 7th if you thought you had a better matchup against 2. But this year, no one wanted to do that, right? No, it actually kind of solved the problem in that way. It also stopped a couple teams from tanking, probably, at least as hard as they would have, because they stayed in a little bit longer because they could have finished 10th or whatever, right? So I don't even know if this is necessarily fair, but let's say even it is, right? That they made the play-in tournament because they wanted better TV numbers. First of all, who gives a fuck? It's fun, right? Like, why am I going to pretend this is a bad thing? They tried to make the basketball more fun because the ratings are bad, maybe, which again, we still don't know if that's true, but maybe, all right? Let's acknowledge that's true. Who cares? Why is this a bad thing? Because the only argument that it's a bad thing is if you're like, well, the league is gonna fucking collapse, right? The league is gonna stop existing because they don't make enough money. That's not happening, all right? Like there's too much money in this. People are gonna keep paying, right? But like beyond that, just talking about ratings is stupid because the ratings don't properly capture all the different ways people watch basketball, right? And hopefully the league can get better in the next few years at providing people ways to watch basketball without having to stream illegally games or whatever, right? Ways that make it difficult for the NBA to capture, or the NBA just gets better at capturing the numbers from people that are watching online and streaming legally, but whatever, right? The real reason this is fucking stupid and annoying is because who cares, right? Who cares if it's not going to change the league in any meaningful way, right? If it's not going to stop the league from existing, then who cares, right? 9 years ago, no, I'm sorry. It's going to be 9 years in 2024-25, but it's 2016-2017. The NBA extended its deal with ABC and TNT and ESPN to go another 9 years, and that deal was worth we'll pay 1. ESPN will pay 1.4. Turner Sports will pay 1.2. So 2.6 billion total for the NBA for 9 years, right? That's what they made. So you're like, damn, if those numbers go down, we might have to change basketball to get numbers up. Well, guess what? They're not fucking going down. The latest reports, oh, that's really inconvenient. This doesn't want to load right now while I'm trying to record this. Whatever, just give it a second. It'll go. There you go. This is the article. So whatever, it worked. Current estimates, the league is going to be seeking 75 billion. That's a lot more. It was making 24 billion. It was 2.6 billion a year before. I should have been specific about that. It was 2.6 billion a year. They were making 24 billion total during the life of the deal. During the next deal, they're seeking to make 75 billion. And I've read this article already last night. There you go. So this is the part I wanted to talk about. One person familiar with sports media deals said the NBA could get 70.2, which is not quite 75, but it's still sure as fuck a lot more than 24 billion they were making before that. All right. They're going to be fine. So it's not going to affect your life in any way. So having this conversation matters not at all. It's just concern trolling from somebody that wants you to talk about it, right? He just wants to be a genius who's like, bro, actually basketball is doing bad. Not basketball, NBA is doing bad, and you have to listen to me because I know solutions, right? Which leads to shit like this, where Tom Ziller correctly points out, why is anyone paying attention to a person talking about ratings who said the reason was because of China issues and Black Lives Matter? And again, it could be true, but you have to give fucking evidence if you're going to say wild shit like that, right? It's not ridiculous to say that maybe some people didn't watch basketball because they're like, oh, these people think black people should stop dying? Fuck them. I'm sure that exists. I'm sure plenty of those people exist who actually decided that. Although the people I know who I'm like, third party friends with, who like I'm friends with a friend that knows this person, they still watch basketball even if they're fucking racist, right? So even this I don't actually buy for the most part. I'm sure there's a couple guys the same way, when LeBron says black people shouldn't die in the streets, or when Kaepernick took a fucking knee, they're like, well, and Nike didn't immediately drop them. They're like, well, I guess I'm burning my fucking Nikes. Yeah, I'm sure there was 3 or 4 sickos that literally burned their Nikes, but that's not representative of the large, truth of everyone, or the vast majority of people who are still fucking buying Nikes in droves, whether or not you want them to. Like, a couple sickos being loud about it doesn't matter. And so him yelling about this, and he's not yelling, I'm being dramatic, but him talking about this in this way. And the reason I'm bringing it up with Ethan is because I've seen him, he makes this argument every fucking year, like every 4 or 5 months, he's talking about how the ratings are fucked, and that's why the NBA, you need to listen to him, and he has solutions, and he's the smart one talking about it, even though it doesn't fucking matter, and he doesn't know why it's happening, right? He has a lot of thoughts, and I'm sure some of them are correct, but he's being a silly bitch the way he's discussing it, and there's no reason to listen to him, okay? The NBA is fine. I mean, I have a lot of problems personally with the NBA, the way it's run. Like, I don't think it's done in the most appealing way, right? But that doesn't mean I can tell you that because there's some things I don't like, that the NBA is about to shut the fuck down because ratings are bad, all right? The ratings are okay, not maybe where they would want them, but they're okay. And you also have to remember, when you compare it to the NFL, the NFL, each team plays 16 games. Every team here plays normally 82, this year 72. There's a shitload more games, all right? Let's pull up my calculator. So let's compare how many more games. Calculator. So 16 times 32 NFL teams, 512 regular season games. Cool. 82 times 30. It's a lot more, dog. Look, let's look at it here. Look at these two numbers. It's a lot more. So even if these are getting way better ratings than these, they end up adding up to, like, I don't know if they're similar numbers, but actually I'm assuming the NBA ends up having a lot more viewers in a way because they have so many more fucking events, right? And it doesn't include that there's 7-round series and these are one-off playoff series, right? So this is dumb. This is a good take. This is dumb. So Don't worry about the NBA. I'm gonna make a video bitching about the NBA at some point, and how I think they could set up their playoffs and regular season in a more enticing way. But I will not tell you in that video that if they don't do this, the NBA is gonna be ruined. It's just something I would like. Okay. I'm sorry that my tone was so loud here. I'm not actually mad. I just get like enthusiastic when I'm talking about shit that like, I kind of know about because I've been following for a long time and reading it. Not that I'm an expert, but whatever. It is funny also that I follow Ethan, I don't follow Brian, but it's just because, this fucking guy worked for, he covered the Warriors during like their fucking, when they were the fucking pinnacle of everything. All right. So it was kind of hard not to read and follow the guy who was like the biggest guy, I guess I would say, that was covering them on a day-to-day basis. But all right, I'm out. It's been fun. I'll make that YouTube video bitching about the NBA some other day. But this is not that video. The NBA is fine. Stop worrying about the NBA, all right?